This hierarchical list shows how mathematicians successfully climbed the algebraic ladder for centuries. By relying on basic arithmetic and standard root extractions, they built reliable, closed-form formulas to solve quadratic, cubic, and quartic polynomials. But finding a general closed-form solution for a degree 5 polynomial, the general quintic shown here, presented a mathematical blockade that lasted for hundreds of years. In the 1820s, Niels Henrik Abel, alongside Évariste Galois, proved that a solid mathematical wall blocks this path. Abel explicitly demonstrated that there is no general solution using finite nested radicals for the quintic. No combination of square roots, cube roots, or fifth roots will ever solve every degree 5 equation. Galois theory reveals exactly why. The Galois group of the general quintic is S5, which contains a commutator subgroup A5 that cannot be broken down into simpler commutative components. This creates a rigid algebraic obstruction that finite radicals cannot resolve. To solve the equation, mathematicians had to move past standard radicals and look toward an entirely different class of mathematical functions. In the year 1858, the mathematician Charles Hermite developed a method to finally resolve the quintic. Hermite proved that the quintic can be solved by bridging pure algebra with geometry, mapping the roots of the equation using modular functions. The specific infinite mathematical structure used for this transcendental solution is the Rogers-Ramanujan continued fraction. Solving the general quintic meant moving from finite algebraic operations to the infinite continuous symmetries found in calculus and geometry. Our solution begins in the late 19th century in the realm of infinite series through the work of Leonard James Rogers and later Srinivasa Ramanujan. To read their work, we first need a compact notation called the finite Q-Potthammer symbol, which represents the multiplication of a descending sequence of terms. When that multiplication is extended to infinity, it becomes the infinite Q-Potthammer symbol. Looking at the first Rogers-Ramanujan identity, we see it equates an infinite sum to a highly specific infinite product. The exponents in the denominator follow a strict modulo 5 pattern. They are exactly the numbers ending in 1 and 4 when divided by 5. The second identity applies the same logic, but dictates that the powers of Q must have remainders of exactly 2 and 3 when divided by 5. These identities translate an infinite sum over restricted partitions into an exact, predictable infinite product. By taking the products from these two identities, we stack them to define our central modular function, R of Q. Rogers and Ramanujan proved this exact ratio perfectly unfolds into an infinite continued fraction. Provided the absolute value of Q is less than 1 in the upper half plane, this fraction converges reliably, maintaining immense internal symmetry. This modular function acts as our transcendental radical, the exact tool built to replace the finite roots that failed us. The modulus 5 patterns we've seen are not coincidental. They are governed by the icosahedron, a shape defined by its 5-fold symmetry. If you count every possible rotational symmetry of an icosahedron, you find a group of exactly 60 distinct orientations. In group theory, this structure of 60 rotations is perfectly isomorphic to the alternating group A5. This A5 structure is the exact symmetry group identified in Galois theory as the obstruction to radical solutions. The icosahedron's geometry provides a three-dimensional map of the very symmetries that radicals cannot capture. In 1884, Felix Klein published a method to exploit this exact geometric connection. Klein introduced 3 fundamental invariant polynomials, f, h, and t, which describe the shape's geometry and satisfy the icosahedral equation shown here. Every configuration of the icosahedron maps to a point satisfying this equation, and Klein realized these invariant points could be parametrized. The precise mathematical function used to parametrize these geometric invariants is the Rogers-Ramanujan continued fraction. As the parameter Q varies, the continued fraction sweeps out all 60 icosahedral symmetries. This turns an abstract algebraic problem into a perfectly navigable geometric map. But we cannot apply this geometric map to just any equation. A general quintic has 5 independent coefficients, making it far too complex to align with our geometric model. We must systematically crush the 5-parameter equation down into a canonical 1-parameter state. This list begins with the raw, unmodified general starting equation. By applying a targeted linear shift, we can strip the degree 4 term from the equation entirely. Next, we execute a Chernhouse transformation, a polynomial manipulation that requires solving auxiliary quadratic or cubic equations to shift the remaining roots. Because these auxiliary equations only reach up to degree 3, we can solve them using standard radicals without violating Abel's theorem. This outcome eliminates the cubic and quadratic terms from the polynomial structure. Further rational transformations are applied to completely kill the remaining quadratic term. The resulting equation is the Jerrard form. It contains only a fifth power, a linear term, and a constant. A final scaling step forces the linear coefficient to 1, leaving us with a single complex parameter, a. Through this algebraic compression, every general quintic, regardless of its initial coefficients, is reduced to an equation defined by the single parameter a. We now have two parallel tracks ready to converge, our algebraic reduction and our transcendental geometry. On the left, we have a single parameter quintic. On the right, we have a single modulus parameterization. Because both sides rely on exactly one parameter, they map to each other perfectly. By equating the algebraic parameter a directly to the geometric invariance, we can invert the modular function. Evaluating the infinite continued fraction r of q at this point yields the exact root of our transformed quintic. To find the root of the original general equation, we take that value and walk backward through our algebraic transformations. As established in Part 1, every general quintic equation can be hammered into a canonical shape, the Jerrard form, where zeta to the fifth plus zeta plus a equals 0. Finding the inverse function that corresponds to our simplified equation requires a mathematical tool that naturally mirrors the rotational symmetries found in these intersecting triangular faces. The Rogers-Ramanujan continued fraction, r of q, is the specific mathematical object that possesses this degree 5 symmetry. Solving the quintic is not a matter of discovering new algebraic tricks. It is a direct translation of icosahedral geometry into infinite fractions. To execute this translation, we need a concrete mathematical bridge connecting the parameter a from our polynomial directly to the continued fraction. This explicit formula links a to the modular variable t through a high-degree rational function. That variable t is the fifth power of the Rogers-Ramanujan fraction. Once we have the numeric value of a from our equation, we invert this formula to find t. Although the equation is degree 12, the underlying icosahedral symmetry ensures the numerical solution remains stable and tractable. After isolating r, all 5 complex roots of our original equation are generated using a rational function and primitive fifth roots of unity. The algorithm is now set. Scale the polynomial, solve the modular equation for t, extract r, and cycle through the roots of unity to identify all 5 values. We can see this in action by solving the specific quintic x to the fifth minus 5x plus 12 equals 0. This equation is already in Jerrard form, lacking the fourth, third, and squared polynomial terms. The first algorithmic step scales the linear coefficient, currently -5, to 1. We use the substitution x equals k zeta. We replace x with k zeta, distribute the powers, and divide the entire expression by k to the fifth. To set our new linear coefficient to 1, we isolate the middle term and solve for k to the fourth equals -5. Choosing the principal complex branch gives us a value for k at the fourth root of 5 times e to the I pi over 4. This scaling maps our specific quintic into the perfectly constrained geometry of the canonical form. We use k to calculate the final parameter, a, by dividing 12 by k to the fifth power. This derivation gives us a numerical value for a of approximately minus 1.6077 plus 1.6077i. Through these scaling transformations, the infinite variability of the general quintic is now concentrated into the single computable parameter a. Klein's modular equation allows us to transition from algebraic parameters into the modular domain. This identity links our parameter a to a new variable, t. In this context, t is defined as the fifth power of the Rogers-Ramanujan continued fraction. While this expression involves high-degree polynomials, its complexity is structured. Because of icosahedral symmetry, we can systematically invert this equation to find t. This equation maps our algebraic problem onto a solvable modular framework. We substitute our numerical value for a back into the modular equation. We then employ a Newton solver to invert the function and isolate t. The solver iterates to find the specific branch where the result converges inside the unit disk. For our equation, t converges to approximately negative 0.12 plus 0.34i. Recall that t is the fifth power of the continued fraction r. We extract the principal fifth root of t to determine the value of r. This provides the concrete, evaluated Rogers-Ramanujan parameter needed for the final roots. Algorithmic computation and modular theory have effectively cleared a barrier that stood for centuries. We now use the calculated value of r in the final root formula for zeta sub k. Here, epsilon represents the primitive fifth root of unity, e to the 2 pi I over 5. We cycle the index k through the integers 0 to 4. This cyclic process generates all 5 complex zeta solutions from the parameter r. Icosahedral symmetry allows one core value to unfold into 5 distinct answers. We multiply our zeta solutions by the original zeta scaling factor k to return to the variable x. Mapping these results on the complex plane reveals the 5 roots in a distinctive pentagram distribution. To verify the solution, we plug the root x sub 0 back into x to the 5th minus 5x plus 12 equals 0. The equation evaluates to 0 within a margin of 10 to the negative 12th, satisfying the equation to machine precision.